Hi friends, it's Jacqueline with Craftin' with Jacqueline, and in today's video we will be destroying a couple books and saving a few, and just maybe using the pages for today's DIYs. Starting off with DIY number 1, I do want to use this Harry Potter book, but I don't want to completely destroy it. It is a 1999 remake of the book, but I still don't want to like fully destroy it because I still want to be able to read it. So I am just going to be using this like review page. They come in most of the books that I have. So I'm going to actually use the second book, and I found a little section that will make like the perfect little circle. It'll say Harry Potter, it'll say the Sorcerer's Stone, and it says a bit of magic, which I think is like the perfect little phrases to add to a little necklace pendant. So I then took some cardstock and I made a little circle with this little stamp. I will, or I guess it's a punch, not a stamp, but I will go ahead and include that in the description along with the pendants. And I'm just going to use that and a little bit of this gel glue. This is just going to be some UV light gel glue that I'm going to cure with a UV light. And I just put a little bit down on the pendant and then put the cardstock and some more little glue. And then I'm just going to cure that for about 30 seconds to make sure that it is completely dried. And then I'm going to rip out that page so that I can use the circle punch for the section that I decided I liked. And it didn't quite fit, the punch didn't quite fit exactly where I wanted it. So I cut off a little bit of the edge and then I stick in the hole punch and get the section that I do want, just with those words that I already said. And it'll be perfect to put on this pendant. Now I do have to cut away a tiny bit of the paper just because the pendant is a little bit smaller than the paper hole punch that I do have, but I'll go ahead and link the description in the description 3-pack, so hopefully the sizes will be correct for you guys. This is just what I did have on hand. And then I'm going in again with the UV gel polish and doing a layer on the bottom and then a layer on the top. And then I'm going to cure it again for 30 seconds. Another option for the pendant, if you don't have a favorite book, is to do like a manifestation kind of necklace. So I ended up grabbing the thesaurus and I did the word gratitude. I picked a couple words, but gratitude was my favorite that I came up with out of all the words in the book. But I just did that one, and instead of using the hole punch, you can also just do like an outline. So you're just going to place it where you want the pendant. You're going to place the pendant where you want, and then just outline with a pencil and cut it out. And then because we traced the outside of the pendant, we do need to go through the inside. So I just placed the paper down and then used my nail, but you can also use just a pencil or anything that can kind of give the edge or like place it all the way down. And then you're just going to cut out the like lifted part of the paper. I then just did the same thing as before and added a little bit of that UV gel glue and the light to cure this piece to the pendant. And then of course, to make them necklaces, I just used some necklace chain and clasps to make it a real necklace. Now, I think this is perfect for book lovers because it can show like a love of books without completely destroying the book. You're destroying it a tiny bit, basically by just one page. But for me, it was just the review page, so I'm not super worried about it. Even though it is technically kind of destroying a book, I think this is a perfect representation of your love for books versus destroying them. But let me know what you guys think. Is this destroying something that you would love, or would you totally do this too? Now for DIY number 2, this is more of a hack than a DIY, but it is an easy way to not destroy your book, but instead to display it. This, you're just going to take your book and kind of roll up a few pages and like insert it into the middle, so that it kind of gives this like little loop. And they kind of hold itself depending on the book size and the pages and the number of pages that you use. But I just went ahead and did 5 little sections. And then I am going to be using this as a little vase. So I did all of these sections, and then I'm going to put some flowers in it to make it look like a beautiful book display vase. Okay, and for DIY number 3, here is your warning that I will be destroying this book, so please look away if you do not want to see. But I chose this book because it's got an all black design on the front. It's just plain, clean, and that's what I wanted for this project. So I am ripping out all of the pages, and then I am going to rip the spine down the middle so that I can use the bottom pieces, or like the cover, I guess. So I then just ripped out the spine, and while doing the ripping, I did rip the back of the book. So I'm gluing that piece back together. I'm then just cleaning up the edges because I just want the back and front pieces, just that like cardboard piece that's really firm, because this is going to end up being a basket. But I am then just going to put these off to the side because we are going to be using them at the very end. But for right now, I am just going to be using the pages themselves, and I am going to be using them by rolling them with a bamboo stick. I just got these ones from Dollar Tree, but I know you can get them at Walmart or basically any grocery store. And I am just rolling these diagonally, the pages diagonally, and then gluing them just with some glue to keep them secure. And I did this for about 100 pieces. So it is going to take a little while, but it is actually kind of fun. I enjoy doing this. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I love these kind of like tedious or busy work type of jobs. So I just continued to do that until I got all 100 pieces that I needed. And then I am now just going to insert one into the other so that they can become one piece, one long piece. And then once all of those are combined together, I am using a nail polish bottle to make these kind of like a squared ring. I liked this nail polish bottle because it is square, and so these will end up being squares versus circles. I thought that would be really cool, but I'm just going to use a little bit of glue and then wrap it around the bottle and glue some more at the very end to secure them. And I just continue to do that for these all, there's probably about 50 of them now because we started off with 100 and then combined them. This is a little bit of a tedious project just because you are repeating yourself over and over again with all of the little steps, but I love doing that. It's kind of like rhinestoning to me, but if it's not something that you enjoy, I probably do not recommend this project for you. But like I said, I enjoy it. And then after we do that, I then just took some of this rose gold wire. It's kind of a flat wire. I'll go ahead and link that in the description for you as well. But this one's kind of a rose gold or copper color. And we're just going to wrap those around these two pieces. So we're going to take one piece and then wrap a little bit of that flat metal around it to combine them. This just really makes this project so much more secure. So I am doing 5 of these in a row next to each other, and then I'm going to be doing that. So it's a 5 by 3, and then for the other sections, I'm going to be doing a 3 by 3. And the reason I am doing that length is just because I am doing the length of the book that we destroyed earlier, so that the pieces at those black pieces that we saved from the book covers are going to be the bottom of this basket. Once I have 2 sections that are ready to combine again, I am then just going to combine them from the horizontal way. So combining them vertically first and then horizontally to each other, just making sure that each piece is going to be connected. And now I'm just going to combine one of the walls with another wall, so that 3 by 3 with the 5 by 3. And to do so, I'm just going to place one of these little copper pieces next to it. Now I did run out of these copper pieces, so I do end up using this like thinner wire. I thought I had another round of this little copper like flat piece, but I didn't. So I could have ordered more, but I already had on hand this other thinner wire. So I am just going to be using that thinner wire for the remainder of these. And I basically just wrapped that around. I thought it also looked pretty decent, but what do you guys think? Should I have bought in more of that copper one so that they are all very unison, or is it fine with this other color that is very similar? Once all 4 corners are attached, I am just now going to attach the book bottom to the piece itself, and I am just using wire in 4 places. So I'm just going to be doing one in the middle of each little side, just wrapping a little bit of that smaller wire through, and then leaving a little length on the top so that I can attach it to the bottom of the book. Now, I thought this would work just fine and then gluing the pieces together, but I did want a little bit more security just because I wasn't sure if I was actually going to make this into a purse. So right now I'm just going to use some of that extra wire and go diagonally, and then I'm just going to use the wire pieces that I had already and basically attach them to this wire. Like I said, this does not look pretty, but it's all going to get covered up by that extra bottom piece. So just kind of wrapping each piece around each other to really secure the base to this basket or purse kind of. And then I am just using some of the hot glue to attach the one book cover to the other book cover to really hide that wire. And this was the plan originally, so it worked out perfectly. And then here we go. Here is the final basket. Now right here I am trying to decide if I should add some like handles and really make this a purse, because it really is way sturdier than I thought. So you guys let me know, should I keep this as a little book holder, a basket, or should I make this into a purse that I can carry things around with? This next DIY is a beautiful butterfly garland. So I took 3 pages from a book, and I'm just going to cut out some of these, or punch out some of these butterflies just using this butterfly punch. Now, once I think I have enough, I am then just going to keep them in sections of 3 and use them to sew a long garland. So I took them to my sewing machine, and down the center I sewed them, and then I just do a little bit of a extra sew line just so that they're not right on top of each other, and sew the next one, and then again sew a little bit, leaving a little bit of a gap, and sew the next one on. And this is going to make the perfect, beautiful garland. Once all of them are sewed together, I then just made sure that the front piece and the back piece were kind of separated, so it kind of gives the effect that these butterflies are flying, or a little bit more mobile than just sticking straight onto this little thread. DIY number 5, which is honestly one of my favorites, is going back to that page. This one I'm just using the Harry Potter page that we used earlier, and you're just going to cut strips. Now these strips need to be kind of diagonal into a triangle shape, just so that they come to a point, because we are going to be making some beads out of this paper. Now this can be made with just regular paper, but since this is out of book pages, we're going to be using this Harry Potter book page, which was from previously that review page. Once the page and the triangles are all cut out, I then just took another bamboo stick, and I'm going to roll these onto the bamboo stick, and then at the very end just use a tiny bit of glue to make sure that they are secure. Now the reason I'm using the bamboo stick is 1, so that it's easier to roll them, but 2, so that there is a center hole that is a little bit thicker, so that they really become beads, just having that little hole in the middle. And then once I think I have enough beads, I am going to Mod Podge them. This one is just a glossy one. I wanted these to have a gloss finish, so I'm just going to add the first layer, and then I'm just going to let that layer dry and add a second layer to give it really a glossy and protected look for these beads. And then once the Mod Podge is completely dried, I took them off of that bamboo, and I have perfectly awesome and unique beads to use for a project. Now I am turning these into a bracelet. I'm going to do one with some beads, and right here I was trying to decide if I wanted some browns and ambers or if I wanted pinks, but I thought the pinks would be really fun next to the colored paper. Well, not colored paper, but the word paper. And then I'm just going to use some stretchy elastic and add these beads to make a bracelet. For the final DIY today, we are back to the thesaurus, and I did just want to show you guys that this one is being repurposed because it is a very damaged book from when my puppies were tiny babies and decided to chew on everything. So I am just repurposing this book again, and I'm going to be using the letters LOVE from this book and choosing good intentional words from those. I did only use 2 main words, which were love and, if I remember correctly, endearment. And then I'm just going to be using V and an O as well, just from those pages. Just will be all of them because I couldn't find very good words that really made sense. And then I'm just going to use those pages on this print that I made years ago. I used some gold foil and then just some like strokes of black to make this canvas look like it is right now. Sorry, I don't have a video of the full process, but then I'm just going to cut out these pieces, these word pieces from the pages, and add them to the canvas. And then once those pages are fully secured with some glue onto the canvas, I am just going to use this foam letters just to make the word love on top of it to really make known that this says love. Now these were sticker foam letters, but they were very old, so I did have to glue them down to the pages. But honestly, I think this turned out really cute. And that is all for today's DIY projects. Please let me know if you guys would destroy a book for these projects or if you would destroy a book for any projects. And go ahead and leave a like or subscribe if you enjoyed and want to continue watching.